Ripple Effect program. As everyone knows, this is Debbie and R's passion, and we just love the opportunity to do this. One thing that's interesting that we just figured out, and it's halfway through the 2018-19 Rotary year, is that this year we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Canadian Ripple Effect Committee, of which I've been chair from the inception back in 2009. The program was originally started in 1999 and was managed by, it was a club program managed out of the Rotary Club of Winnipeg West. So this year we're celebrating 20 years of Ripple Effect in our district. In September 2018, Debbie and I made our 12th trip to Guatemala on a project monitoring trip. This year we had District Governor nominee Gail Anderson and Mona Graham, both Rotarians of the Rotary Club of Melfort, accompanied us for 10 days. As you know, anybody who travels with us pays their own expenses, so it was nice to have them along. Just looking back over the years, John Berenger has been to Guatemala 5 times, and Rowena has been 4 times, and they actually took their daughter Kelly one year. They can't be with us today because they're in Florida enjoying the sun and warmth. Also today in our presence we have Carolyn Hudson and Marg Ronning. They were members of a vocational training team back in 2017. The objective of that was to mentor teachers and adopt new teaching methods and to adapt their regular teaching methods to be more inclusive of children with different types of learning abilities. They especially concentrated on math and reading, and Carolyn worked very hard with them to teach them the recorder. Are we ready to go? There's one other person I'd like to mention before we start is Christine Hansen. She's chair of the World Community Service Committee. She's also the club's primary contact with the World Community Service District Grants Committee and is responsible for submitting all district grants and is also the project manager for all the Kenora projects that are under the Ripple Effect program. Christine's been project manager probably for about 5 schools, I think now. Christine's leadership is very much appreciated and is doing an excellent job. Christine is not able to be here today as she's in Thailand. Today's presentation will touch on their 2018 project monitoring trip to Guatemala, as well as some of our past, present, and future projects, as well as what new projects are being led by other clubs in District 5550 under the Ripple Effect program. So what is the Ripple Effect program? The Ripple Effect program is committed to fighting poverty and promoting peace by providing educational opportunities for children living in challenging environments in Guatemala. This is achieved by building or refurbishing schools, classrooms, washrooms, playgrounds, kitchens, and providing classroom furniture and installation of computers, and providing training to teachers, and awarding scholarships to middle and high school students. In the past 20 years, the Ripple Effect program has built or refurbished over 80 schools, awarded over 550 middle and high school scholarships and 8 teacher scholarships, and directly benefited over 26,000 students and invested over $3 million in education in Guatemala. Now, to give you an idea, just these are the projects. The little red dots identify the schools that the Rotary Club of Kenora has been involved in the past 10 years. So when you look at Guatemala, 43% of the population is under the age of 15, so there's lots of work to do. It has the 4th highest rate of malnutrition in the world, and all of these schools are located a good 10-hour drive from Guatemala City.
When we go to Guatemala, we work really hard to find partners in Guatemala. Our whole goal is to actually move out of Guatemala and let the country run itself. So finding partners and encouraging them to donate to the Ripple Effect program is part of the ultimate goal of having them be self-sustaining. So as part of our work, we've worked with the Carlos F. Novella Foundation. I'm sure most of you have heard of that. They are the largest cement company in Central America, and they have been donating up to 20 bags of cement for each school that we build, which translates to about
210.
Oh, 210 bags of cement, sorry. Translates to over, to $2,500 for cement for each school. We've worked with UNICEF. They do a lot of the training for health and hygiene within the schools. We'll build the bathrooms, and then UNICEF will come in and train the teachers and staff and the students on how to maintain the bathrooms, clean the bathrooms, and general health and hygiene. The government of Guatemala, we work with them. We send them a list of the schools we plan to build and talk to them. We meet every time we go down there and talk to them about their programs within the schools, what they're doing, which schools they're going to work on, and work closely with them so that we're not stepping on each other's toes. FUNCIPA is a NGO in Guatemala that provides refurbished computers to schools. So we've worked a lot with FUNCIPA. We've installed computers in many, many schools. They'll go in and assess a school. We'll do the grates on the windows and the security for the classrooms, sort of renovate a classroom or build a new classroom for a computer lab. They'll go in and install the computers, put in a central server or the internet, whatever is required, and do all the training of the teachers and the students so that they can manage on their own. And they come back every 3 years and replace all the computers with new refurbished computers, take those ones back and redo them. The computers are sent out of South Carolina to FUNCIPA for their use from companies that are upgrading their equipment. So we've worked a lot with FUNCIPA. We actually right now have a global grant that's in the process of being approved for, is it 20 new schools?
It is approved.
Pardon?
It is approved.
It is approved. Oh, it is approved.
14 schools have been
for,
installed.
Yeah, so other partners, of course, is the Rotary Foundation, the District Grants, District 5550 District Grants Committee, and the Canadian Rotary Foundation as well. And so we can leverage our money in many ways. You have to turn the slide. Can
Oh,
you do that?
jeez, oh yeah.
Arrow down. Okay. Here's our annual visit to the Minister of Education. We're really lucky. The government in Guatemala is always a little unstable, but the Minister of Education that department seems to work well. Our last minister stayed for 3 years, and this one's been the minister for at least 3 years, so we're not every time we go down trying to create a relationship again. San Antonio Nueva Esperanza, that's what got Gord and I into Ripple Effect. We had a presentation from the Ripple Effect program, a presentation in Kenora by Alex Zardnitsky about 11 or 12 years ago. And he was promoting Kenora working on San Antonio Nueva Esperanza. So we got talking to him after, and that's how we ended up in the program. We did 3 phases there. You can see there's 3 school buildings. Each one has 2 classrooms, I believe. So we built 5 classrooms. I say 6. So that's a before and after of that school. It's way up in the mountains. We had to fly in a 6-seater plane and land on a grass runway. And to stop the plane, you hit a bump, and then you go up a hill, and it stops the plane from keeping on going, and you kind of back down, and there you are.
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
Gord's turn.
I think. Las Torres is a school we've been working on since 2013. This school is located about 60 kilometers from Huehuetenango, which is about 10 hours from Guatemala City, and there's 60 speed bumps on the highway going to this school, so it's quite an interesting trip. This is the official sign on the school, and these mothers, they come to the school every day, and they cooked a meal for the children. This kitchen was installed a few years ago. Our first trip to this school, it was kids were attending school in a shack like that. The playground was just all full of mud and clay, and it was just an awful mess. Actually, the mothers didn't even want to send their children to school because they got so dirty. So we started building. We built 3 classrooms there. two were for kindergarten. Rowena and John are standing beside this classroom here, and what it says is that the mothers need to have, as well as teachers understanding the science and about teaching, they also have to have heart. So that was a picture of the school back in 2013, and that's the kindergarten class you see there, inside and out, and this was the new kindergarten class we built for them a few years ago. So they really appreciate that, and their level of learning's gone way up. And this is the new washrooms we have in the back here. Before they had one toilet for 125 students. So now they have nice washrooms, and they also have wash stations for the children. This here is a combination of 2 district grants and a global grant. The district grant last year was for $2,500, and what we did was provide security for this classroom. When we provide security, put a steel door, we put bars on the windows, and we put rebar in the ceiling so that nobody can break into the school. The computers in this classroom are part of a global grant to install computers in 20 schools. It'll be 340 computers. Our club contributed $1,000 to this project, and we were one of the schools that was benefited from receiving the computers. Now, once you get computers in the school, one of the other things you need to look at is the security for the school. So this year with another district grant that was approved just recently, actually this is still going on, this is still underway. We're building the security wall around the school. The security wall serves 2 purposes. It provides added protection for the computers and also keeps the children in and the intruders out. Because in a lot of these schools, the mothers are very concerned about their children wandering away or being kidnapped. Is this you now? Yeah, you.
That's me?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We need to do half and half instead of back and forth. Is this working? Okay. San Miguelito School, that was a school, it's way up north, almost near the Mexican border. And when we went to that school the first time, the parents were all there, the whole community was there. The women were all wrapped in blankets, sitting on a wooden bench, all huddled together. We went inside the school, there was no electricity. They had run a light bulb from a neighboring house to light the inside of the school. There were no windows. They had a sheet partitioning the building into 2 classrooms, and then they had a dugout basement of a church where they were holding kindergarten and grade 1, and it was moldy and damp and dark, and we couldn't believe the conditions these kids were in. There was a father there that made a really heartfelt speech about how he didn't want to send his children out of the city to another school to go to school because he was afraid they'd be lost to the streets. So Rotary Club of Kenora stepped up here. That's a letter that was signed by some of the parents. I think they had a parent committee, and that's the signature, so you can see the thumbprints. Several of the parents hadn't ever gone to school and couldn't even sign their own name. So there's a before and after of the school. We did the school in phases. Kenora's club, our club was involved in all of the phases. We built initially five classrooms along you can see along the right-hand side. And then in the second phase, we built bathrooms, an office and storage, and a kitchen. And that's where we learned that if you build a storage room that can be locked and a kitchen, that other partners will step in and provide food. So USAID came in and they provided food every 3 months to the school, vegetable oil, beans, rice, eggs, different things, because they had a locked room that could hold food and a kitchen to prepare it in. So there's this in behind is the second phase where we built onto the office and bathrooms and kitchen. We built a computer lab on the end of that building, and there's the computers in that school. They received 16 computers through a partnership with FUNCEPA. Okay, so when we go to schools in Guatemala, it's really fun because they know we're coming. It's fun, and it's also sometimes frustrating, but I'll explain the fun part first. The kids put on shows, so these are some of the activities that the kids, they dance and sing and play instruments and really put on a nice show for us. The frustrating part of it is that we have a hard time getting pictures of kids actually sitting in their seats in the classrooms because they're always so excited and the party's on. Guatemalans love to party, so it's like a fiesta when we show up. Okay, Chiquita School, it's way up in the mountains. If you suffer from altitude sickness, you probably won't want to go there. It's the highest school that we've ever built. We got there was a partially built building that had been built by somebody and they had stopped partway through, and then there was one classroom. And so there's the washrooms, that's the way they were. The Rotary Club of Huehuetenango had completed a global grant and supplied these water containers and a water recovery system for the school. The school's in a very rocky location, of course, on the top of a mountain, so water was difficult for them to obtain before, but now they have these big tanks and they get enough rainfall that they can supply water year-round to the school. So this is last year. That's Mona Graham from the Rotary Club of
Melfort.
Yeah, and that's the sign at the highway. If you look closely, the Rotary Club of Kenora is on there, and Rotary Club of Dryden is on the sign at the highway. So you go up the mountain on this windy, fairly good road, and then you go off onto a gravel road that goes winding up the mountain after that. But this is right on the main highway, they have this sign. And that's the new school. We built 2 classrooms there and a kitchen on the end of it. You can see the water on the floor. They had washed the floor before we came. The schools are always spick and span when we arrive. So what we're seeing in Guatemala, one of the big improvements in Guatemala is the food that's distributed at schools. Partners have come in. There's the beer company has supplied food to some of our schools, and parents donate vegetables and fruit. The Carlos F. Novella Foundation has trained many mothers on food preparation and cleanliness. This is one of our schools. You can see the mothers wearing a hairnet there. And the food they provide is nutritious. A lot of the schools now, before when we go, they would have these tiendas set up in the schoolyard and they'd be selling candy and chips and pop and whatnot to the kids. And a lot of that is gone. The teachers are better educated and they're banning all that junk food sales at the schools, and they're providing nutritious food now, for the most part. And we can notice the kids are a lot healthier.
It's not working now.
It's working.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Is that you again?
You continue. No, I'm going to do that one. But you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay. Okay.
This is another part of the Ripple Effect program is our scholarship program. This was started back in 2006 with 9 students. Today the program has awarded over 600 middle and high school scholarships. This program is working really well. We have great support from the Rotary Club in Guatemala. And also it's just got nothing but better as now the kids actually spend some time at a technical school and learn about accounting. And a lot of them are getting jobs right out of grade 12. Last year almost all of 2017 graduates had jobs, and it's the most important part of this trip is when we visit the school. We've been there every year for 10 years, and the parents come out and they thank you so much, and the children thank you for their opportunity to have a scholarship, because without it they would not be going to school. This last trip, one mother spoke with her son at her side. He had graduated several years ago and now works at a bank, and it was evident that the mother was very proud of her son and his accomplishments. The young man also thanked his mother and said that if he hadn't allowed him to go to school instead of maybe working in the fields or going to work, that he never would have been able to do this. So they're very grateful for the ability for us to provide scholarships. And this young fellow, he was the eldest of 8 children. Another thing we've started just recently, or I guess 5 years ago now, the Teacher Scholarship Program at the University of Valle de Guatemala. There is a need for teachers in Guatemala, so we meet with the Dean of the University every year, and the university is involved in choosing the students, and it's usually based on need. And we've provided 8 scholarships to teachers. 4 have graduated in 2017. And these kids work really, really hard. They have to go to school every Saturday for 11 months of the year. And a degree for them takes 3 years. So they go for 3 years every Saturday to earn their degree. And it costs about $1,500 per student for them to go to school. Our 2018 students are doing awesome. All their marks are in the low 80s to high 80s.
You should say that when we came to visit the students that were in the scholarship program, all the students that were, except one, that were in the previous program that had already graduated came back to thank us. And some of them, well, one of them had to travel for many hours on a bus just to get to the school to thank us. And they're all doing really well. 2 of them are school principals. One is getting her master's degree, and one is teaching English in a school and is head of the department for that school. Los Pinos.
Okay, now I'm going to give you an update on some of the projects that are going on in our district right now. This was a global grant, and this was, in the video you saw one teacher talking about this school. This global grant got started probably 2 or 3 years ago. The Rotary Club that stepped up in Guatemala to do this had 5 members. That Rotary Club has now grown to 11 members. The president went out and we're going to do this project, I need an accountant, I need an engineer, I need an architect, went out and brought all these people into the club. So we're not only improving education, we're also providing opportunities for clubs to grow. This club is now a vibrant and active club. So here we built 3 classrooms and washrooms. And this global grant is being led by the Rotary Club of Maywassen in Saskatoon. And so that's a before and after. So they had that little toilet there for I think 90 students. And like a toilet is very important in the schools because it provides security for the children, the girls who want to go to the bathroom, and also it's a safe place for them, and it helps in their health and hygiene as well. A couple other global grants we have going right now is we also have a global grant for the installation of the computers we talked about there that the Rotary Club of Los Trias is involved in. But that global grant was for $99,000 US, and we were able to leverage $30,000 US from the Government of Canada for this project. They are involved they don't do bricks and mortar, but they will provide funding for computers, for desks, for training. So we were able to leverage $30,000 out of the Canadian government for that. And it involves the installation of 340 computers in 20 schools. And this was just approved last October, and 14 schools have now received computers out of the 20. And there'll be a direct benefit to over 5,500 students. Another global grant that's just being submitted now is the Rotary Club of Moose Jaw Wacamo is the lead, and it is to refurbish or build new washrooms, provide health and hygiene training to students, and it's for a value of $279,000 US with a direct benefit to 3,500 students. Other projects that Kenora is considering right now is we're also looking at the possibility of doing a global grant to build a school similar to what you saw there with Los Pinos in a school called Kopech, the construction of 3 classrooms. The Rotary Club of Huehuetenango is working with the Rotary Foundation right now to see if they can get that project approved. We're also looking at 2 kindergarten classes back in San Antonio School, where we built our first school back in 2008.
So when we go to visit these schools, we don't take candy for the kids because most of the kids already have rotten teeth and they're not healthy. A lot of them are not healthy. So what we do is we bring school supplies because the schools, for the most part, most schools are short on school supplies. Some hardly have any. So what we've been doing, we have a list of what we want to purchase. We send it to the Guatemalan Ripple Effect Committee. They go out and negotiate and get the best deal they possibly can. And we package it up. It's lots of fun. We haul all the boxes up to our room in our hotel in Guatemala City and spread everything out on the beds, figure out which schools we're going to, make big packages for the big schools, smaller packages for the small schools. And just, so when we go to a school, we have a couple of boxes or a couple of bags of school supplies to present, and it's sort of like a gift when you arrive. We don't always work on every school we visit, so in some way we help them by bringing them school supplies at least. So there's several Rotarians within our club, including Cindy, who's here, who donate every year towards the school supplies that we purchase, and we are really grateful for that. The teachers are also very grateful.
Oh yeah, I gotta change that. Sorry.
Yeah, Gord.
One slide.
Am I doing this again?
Yep, you're doing this.
Okay, so this is what it looks like when you first go to a community and they want you to build a school for them. We were at the Chiquihuita school, and several members of another community approached us and asked if we would come and look at their plan for their school. So we came, and all it was a field of dirt. Across the road, the men were carrying and women were carrying big bags of potatoes on their backs, loading that truck with potatoes. And so we looked at the property, and they gave us a sheet with some information about the number of students who would attend the school and why they needed a school. And so we have to go back to the Rotary Club in Huehuetenango and talk to them and talk to clubs in Canada and see if we can make it happen. So we never ever promise anything. We just explain that we don't have the money and we're not sure. We'll do the best we can and try to help them if we can. And that's all we can say. So anyway, that's what it looks like when you go to a community that wants a school.
Okay. Thank you, slide. Okay. Okay.
Okay, just in closing now, the projects are successful and sustainable due to the commitment of the leadership and dedication of the Canadian Ripple Effect Committee, the Guatemalan Ripple Effect Committee, clubs and Rotarians in Guatemala and throughout District 5550. The partnerships, friendships, and collaboration developed and nurtured over the years is building capacity, sustainability, and continuous improvement in providing educational opportunities for children living in poverty in Guatemala. We are making a difference in the lives of the children in Guatemala and the hope for a brighter future. Now, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club of Kenora for their 10 years of generous financial support and moral support over the past 10 years. I would also like to recognize John and Rowena Berenger for their significant annual donation for the past 7 years. And I'd also like to thank the Rotarians who have made annual donations to purchase school supplies and middle and high school scholarships in our club. And also to Jerry Beveridge, who has also been a monthly supporter of the Ripple Effect program. So on behalf of the children of Guatemala, I thank you very much. And as you know, education is the most effective way to break the cycle of poverty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gord and Deb, for your passion for the children. Thank you to the club for your support as well.
Thank you very much, Carolyn.
All right, thanks, Carol.
Okay.
That's good.
We need a picture. Let's have a picture of Carolyn. We need a picture. There we go.
Okay.